Yeah, so it's attached to the Starburst pattern colored pencil sketch, which is in today's folder. You'll see that this unit is due at the end of the day on Friday. You'll see all the information. And then the rubric. Well, it's rubric, graphic organizer, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
So everyone should be downloading that. And once you've downloaded that to Notability, then please flip your iPads, and then we know you are ready to move on. So I can introduce what we are going to be creating and why we've been learning everything we've been learning this week. Looks like the front two tables I can see look ready.
They do, and the back tables look pretty ready too. Some students still just have their iPads up, but as like myself, I am just importing it now into Notability. So I think we're ready, Ms. Goldman.
Perfect. Okay, so this is like your large summative. Well, everything you create in your sketchbook is summative, just so you know. So all your sketches are summative, your discussions are formative. So most of the stuff you do in art class is summative because it's how we are assessing your learning. Because like I told you before, we don't really do tests. So we test you by you showing your understanding of the concepts. We are going to be taking our colored pencil skills and our pattern skills, and we are going to be adding them to our very own, what I like to call a Starburst creation. Now, the thing I really enjoy about the Starburst drawing is that it's easier than it looks, and everybody's will look different depending on where you put your dots. So I will explain that to you in just a second. You are expected to have a fresh page in your sketchbook. You are going to create your drawing on that page in pencil first. You will use a ruler or a straight edge. We're not measuring anything in increments. We're just using it for straight lines. But you will need a ruler. Part of the expectation is you have straight lines. Your pencil lines need to be outlined with a dark color of your choice. Some students like to outline it with a dark Sharpie. So you can see this is or a skinny black Sharpie or a skinny dark Sharpie. Some students like to use a colored pencil to outline. I don't care. But everything inside your Starburst will be colored pencil, and your background will be colored pencil. So how this works is I have a video with instructions, and then I have picture instructions, and I have written instructions. So what works best for you as a learner? Hopefully I hit that. I'm personally like a video person. I like to be able to like play it and fast forward and that sort of thing. You'll see here an example of a student's Starburst from 2 trimesters ago. Can you see this on the board?
Yes, I'm just making it a little bit bigger so that they can see.
Okay, perfect. I was like, oh, mine.
Oh no, you're fine.
So what I'm looking for is your coloring skills. Do not forget to outline your pencil lines. Each section of your Starburst should have a different pattern to it. Now, I'm well aware that some parts of your Starburst are going to end up being very tiny. So you can see how the student has like a solid yellow and a solid green, and then they actually have like a tie-dyed basically a value scale essentially going on here. So I understand some parts of your Starburst you might not be able to fit a pattern in it, but a majority of the sections need to have different patterns. Okay, this is all done in colored pencil. If you want to start with pencil first, not a problem. Your goal is to fill up this sheet of paper with a large Starburst, and I'll explain to you how you do that. You don't want a tiny one in the middle. You want it to fill up your page. You need a background of some sort. This student did more of a value scale with a black colored pencil for their background, but you need a background. So that is the expectations. This is how you're going to turn this in at the end when you're done. You should have downloaded the graphic organizer, and it should look like this. And it tells you like colored pencil techniques. This says colored pencil in action, which means your dessert, like you're putting it in action. Your pattern sketch, and your final Starburst. This is worth 40 summative points altogether. Okay, so your Starburst is worth 25, and then each of the others are worth 5 summative. That's how you get to your 40. Okay, so that's how you turn it in. Please do not turn this in unless you have it complete. Here is a step-by-step video of how to complete a Starburst that I created, and then here is how you do it. So on your paper, you're going to start with 2 large dots anywhere on your paper. Now, the further apart, the larger it's going to be. You are then going to surround those large dots with 15 to 20 smaller dots. Now, your large dots don't need to be like ginormous, but you can see the difference here. So here are the large dots, and then they have 15 to 20 smaller dots, and you want this spread throughout your whole page. Okay, if you concentrate them in one spot, your starburst will be way too small, and you will not be able to complete the assignment expectations. So you want to spread them out. Once you have done that, this is where it sounds confusing, but once you get started, it is not. You are going to start with a small dot, and you are going to use your ruler, and you are going to connect that one small dot to both of the big dots. Okay, and then you're done with that one. You're going to choose another small dot and connect it to both large dots. You're done with that one. You never connect the large dots at all. Unless this, for instance, this might go through it. So if I connect here and here, it might go through it, but you never connect the large dots. So that's how it ends up. So real fast, I'm going to go back. And again, you have access to all of this. You have access to this video. You have access to the pictures. It's all in the Starburst project. So you do 2 large dots spread out, 15 to 20 smaller dots. The small dots, every small dot gets connected to the big dots. Okay, and you must use a ruler. And then it ends up like that. So here's another example from somebody from, I don't know which trimester. But you see how they have a background. Their color pencil skills are beautiful. They have their patterns. Look at how straight these beautiful lines are. The pencil lines are outlined. It's awesome. Here are some more pattern examples. Here are some other. I love how people started getting into more of the optical illusion look. They turned this into like kind of like a literally like in the sky. I've had, shading. Now I put this one on here because it's really nice, but did they follow instructions? There's no colored pencil. There's no background. There are patterns though. So they hit the patterns, but they did not use their color pencil skills and they did not use a background. So I like to show that so you can see the differences. That's why reading instructions and listening are really important. Here are a few others. I have another one I need to show y'all because it was so cool. Look at this gradient, Miss Jones. Isn't this like phenomenal?
Amazing.
Like, holy cow. And I love how they have shading going on and over here in their circles. I've been really impressed. This I would work on with the background, but I liked the Starburst. Was really cool. It was really dark and just like in your face. This one was pretty funky. I don't know. It looks like blood to me, but whatever. It has some really cool like characters going on inside. I really liked the mountains on here. So remember, a pattern is anything that repeats. So you could draw things like mountains. They repeat. I'm going to show you another one I have in a second here because it's super cool. But this is the whole goal. So I'm going to go back to our expectations. Okay. Again, this instructions are here for you in Schoology. This is due Friday at the end of the day. So that means the whole unit of work that we've been working on this week is due at the end of school on Friday. So you have today and tomorrow in class to work on all of this work, and then Friday at home. Who has questions? Anybody? Is everybody feeling okay? Like, again, it might be kind of confusing until you get started, but once you get started, it should make sense. And like I said, the thing that's cool is they all kind of end up being very, very different.
Absolutely. I think I got it, Ms. Colson, because I did not realize that you needed to start with 2 big dots in the middle and then kind of have those 15 to 20 dots around, because I did not realize, and I love this idea. The goal is to fill up the page as much as possible. Am I correct?
Correct. So the dots you can see here because the tips of the triangles are where the dots are. So you can see how the student spread their dots out throughout their whole page. It also is less background.
And again, you start with 2 bigger dots and then 15 to 20, wherever they are. And then you just match up those 2 dots with one of those dots to make a triangle.
Yep. And I have the video here, the instruction video. So that also will show you how to do it on the video.
Love it. Very cool.
So hopefully it'll start making sense to everybody as you get going.
I think so. Once you get into it, it definitely does make much more sense.
Yes. And just, again, I have a ton of missing work still in Schoology. You guys are going to hear this all the time, the broken record of get your work turned in, because I do look at the grade book basically every single day. So I would get that late work done now and turned in, and then start your Starburst.
Sounds good. So make sure everything is done and turned in. Once they finish those works of art, though, they could add it to their graphic organizer. Am I correct, Ms. Polston?
Yes, that's why I wanted everyone to download it now. So then that way, if you are finished with your other works of art, take your Rockstar photographs, which you might need to go towards the back of the room or towards like on my desk by Miss Jones to get good lighting. But notice like the good lighting. You can kind of see here on the pattern sketch, there's that big shadow at the bottom. That's the kind of stuff we want to avoid. So we want to take those like really nice, bright pictures.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, Polston.
Yeah.
We're ready to. Sounds good. Thank you.
I'm excited to see them come together.